Hello and welcome after a, I don't know, 2-month hiatus. Uh, so I'm probably gonna just go over the organization things and how the channel will look after Scarlet and Violet releases at the end of the video. But TLDR, I'm at college, I don't have a lot of time, so we'll have to see if I'll have time. I'll spare you the details, but it's basically like that. I'll see. I could have a lot of time, or I could have a lot less time. But I want to put out some videos, probably just me laddering and just observing like what's good and what's not. And then maybe I'm gonna make like 10-minute report of the most interesting things. Anyways, that's not why we are here today. Today I just want to just put up some of my thoughts for Scarlet and Violet before it releases, and note some things that could be interesting. So first off, you could start making a team like right now, you know, like the Cerebi, excuse me. The Pokédex. It should include pretty much every single Pokemon that was already revealed to be out. And as you can see here, there is a lot of Pokemon that have been already revealed, and there has been more Pokemon revealed, but or through leaks. But I'll get to that after I'm gonna talk about the non-leaked decks, you know, and then we're gonna just discuss a few things like the Pokemon that got leaked and kind of interesting observations that could go alongside that. But as you can see here, there is a lot of Pokemon already revealed, because we are in open world game, so there is a chance we're gonna see like small silhouettes of Pokemon at every corner, and we did. Like, look at this. It's a lot of revealed Pokemon. So I tried to make kind of some sense out of that, and I think I built a decent team. Of course, before we get to that, just take note of this Pokemon, Lilligant, and then if we scroll up, voila, we got Torkoal. So that could get really interesting, especially with Covered Cloak combination. You can basically be immunized with one of these slots to fake out and just create some 50-50s. Of course, the idea behind this combination is to just spam Sleep Powders, and if you don't need to risk Sleep Powders, you can go for After You Eruption to completely decimate your opponent. And Torkoal could get some nasty combinations up as well. Like, I can definitely imagine Fighting type Torkoal's changing the Fighting type just to go for a Body Press and just one-shot the Tyranitar. And you still keep your, apparently you keep your old stabs still. So, you can still spam stab Eruptions even after Tyranitar comes in. So, yeah, that's another note. Apparently you keep your old stabs if you Terrestrialize, which I find really interesting, and there has been a lot of sources confirming that. Although I still doubt it's definite, because I feel like, well, calculations, especially from in-game team, they hadn't already, because I can imagine that the demo the people played have been something along the lines of, alright, you got these Pokemon, if you haven't played Sword and Shield demo, they just gave you full team of 6, and just you had to figure it out yourself, you know. And I can imagine they already gave them some Pokemon, and these Pokemon especially since I see a lot of these Pokemon reviewers are more I would say gamers on the larger scale, so they don't have to necessarily understand the Pokemon mechanics correctly. So I think there is a small chance people just saw, alright, that did a lot of damage. Alright, that has to keep it stab, you know. But in reality, you got good IVs, and the wild Pokemon had bad IVs, and it's it could get kind of messy, you know, with the calculations. So I'm going for just of this video, I'm gonna just assume the stab is kept. Also, we have been revealed that so-called if you terrestrialize into your own type, you get to get only 2 times the stab. So you get adaptability boost basically, which is still quite could be quite brutal if you just combine it with something like Choice Band Mudsdale. Like imagine Choice Band Mudsdale going for adaptability Earthquake. That is absolutely scary, especially coupled along the fact that Mudsdale got Inner Focus as its ability, making it immune to not only flinching from fake outs but also to Intimidate, which is quite scary. But yeah, I just looked into this dex and I thought, alright, I can make something out of this. Oh yeah, Ursaluna has been revealed as well, so Ursaluna, there is a chance it's coming back. And that's quite scary as well. Yeah, so I just like put some of this team together. Hariyama has been historically amazing in keeping the Hard Trick Room teams good early meta in the limited dex format, that being VGC 2014, VGC 2017. It has always been amazing on these semi-Trick Room teams, you know. And really fake out, immediate offensive power with Flame Orb in close combat. It almost always gets access to knockoff. Excuse this is incorrect, because Hariyama is not in Sword and Shield, apparently, and it's one of these few Pokemon that actually is good and is not in the Pokédex, so bit of a shame and missed opportunity in my opinion, but yeah, it always gets knockoff, and Rock Slide is always great against the flying types that have been Charizard Wild or Talonflame or whatever. Actually, I haven't gone to make a EV spread for Hariyama, but you can definitely just get away with using something like this. That being because, long story short, you got such a high HP, it would be basically wasting your bulk EVs if you would invest highly in HP. It's complicated math, but basically if you see a very high HP stat and low defensive stats, you just want to invest into defenses equally. If you would just go for 252 HP, just go for something like 156, 156, 128, 128. It doesn't matter, it's still better than just investing into HP. I guess this should just work. Alright. Yeah, Flame Orb could be also really good in taking down the Lilligant plus Torkoal combo, because you no longer can get Sleep Powdered, which is just good. Also, the Bronzong is in the dex. There is probably going to be one more alternative, but I'm going to talk about that after we get to leak information. But so far, Bronzong seems like really good, especially since you can defensively Terra Slice to, for example, if you're up against a Dark type like a Hydreigon, you could just go for a Terra Slice in the Fighting type and just resist the Dark Pulse, set up Trick Room safely, and then still get full benefit from the stab body press, especially coupled with Iron Defense. It could be very annoying to take down. And of course, it gets Trick Room, that's the most important part. Other than that, I think, like, Fairy Salamence could get really interesting as well, because it easily defeats the Hydreigon and other Salamence side that could just be in a mirror match. It also allows you to beat the Garchomp a lot more adequately, and with Choice Specs and Terra Blast, Fairy type, Stab, you should be able to KO any kind of Dragon type in the game. So that's just perfect. And of course, excuse me, that is just wrong. Anyways, you can just go for a Flying type, but I think the Flying type is a bit of a waste. It's like, Salamence doesn't really necessarily need to use its Flying Stab, you know. In some cases it wants to, but you can definitely just use the Fairy type Terra Slice, and I think you're gonna reap all the benefits from the Fairy types, just kind of like really good typing. The Fairy type is just a better type than most other types, and you get similar benefits, so I think in that case it's fine. And it allows you to beat any Dragon Mirror match, which is just invaluable. Other than that, I talked about Mudsdale already. I think this is going to be one of the premier Draco Cream Sweepers in the game. Of course, immunity to Fake Out and Intimidate is just invaluable. And you got like a lot of different coverage, physical coverage. You can go for Heavy Slam, you can go for Rock Slide. I don't think you get Stone Out, but you get Close Combat. You get Bulldoze if you're into that kind of stuff. You just got sufficient amount of coverage on Mudsdale, and it's just... And it also just pretty much beats any other Draco Cream mon like Terminator or Torkoal that might want to get on its nerves. So I think Mudsdale could be really good. Other than that, I really feel Lilligant plus Torkoal combination, so I decided to just do some kind of like safety check-in as well. So I got Safeguard plus Switch to Terminator, which means if they go for Sleep Powder, I can just go for like a Safeguard, ruin their Chlorophyll, outspeed them guaranteed, just get Safeguard, and no Sleep Powder business is gonna happen. And of course, in the next turn I can just Flare Blitz the Lilligant for a one-shot after its Sash is broken, and Rock Slide to just KO the Torkoal, but I do think there's gonna be a bunch of Water Press Torkoals, so it's not gonna be guaranteed, but at least they wasted their own Tera Slice on something like Torkoal. So I think that's fine. Other than that, Iron Ball, Terminator are gonna get really annoying, of course, with Fling. I think it's also pretty good early format Pokemon. And you can go for ground type Earthquakes as well with Terminator, which is I feel it's something Terminator kind of missed in previous metas, the Step Earthquake, but now it's no longer gonna miss that. I talked about a lot of these offensive Terrestrializing, but I think the most interesting part is, for example, using your Pokemon with stabs. You just want to use, for example, a stab of some Pokemon, but you don't want to just get the downsides of that given stab. So basically you can just give like, I think the best example is Gyarados. Gyarados could all use its Waterfall stabs still. And it's all of its like water type stabs and exert pressure on all of these Pokemon whilst transforming into something like a ground type or grass type to resist the electrics. You still get the stab on your water moves, but you are no longer weak to electric moves or grass moves, which can be basically set to any water type. It's like water types with grass type terrestrializing are going to be extremely popular, I feel, because it basically solves this one problem water types have, and that's that they cannot touch other water types. And just exerting, for example, Rotom Wash's water and Burst Stab with again grass typing is just fantastic. And I think a lot of these Pokemon are going to be using something like Fairy type, Steel type, while still exerting their normal stab combination, which is just going to be annoying to take down, and it's going to result in a lot of, I would say, unique situations we have not seen before, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. People say it's going to be a bit of a 50-50 with the typing, but I don't think it's going to be that much of a big deal. It's really not going to be. Oh, it could be, but I don't think so at this moment. It's going to be that much of a big deal. Since you can react to that the very next turn. If it, for example, is kind of a bad Terra Slice for you, it was most likely a matchup roulette, but matchup roulette just happens in Pokemon all the time, so I don't... It's like it happened before already, so it doesn't really matter, it happens again, you know, so... yeah. What else? What kind of other example could I give? Terminator with Ghost Type has been advertised in a trailer, but I don't think it's gonna be all that good. I mean, just use something like a Fairy type, I'd say. Again, Fairy types are just that much better, and maybe Game Freak will realize how good the Fairy type is. Because it only has 2 weaknesses, and exerts an immense amount of pressure, and you get like... Excuse me, what are you resisting? You resist fighting, you do, or you immunite a dragon, you resist dark, and I think you resist one more type, but it's just a better typing, and it also hits so many important stuff for super effective damage that not a lot of types hit for super effective damage. So yeah, that's my opinion on Tera Slice, some basic team management. Other Pokemon that I think are worth honorable mention are something like Arcanine is going to be an amazing Intimidator early game as well. We don't know much about the other Pokemon that are going to be in the decks. Excuse me. Holding my microphone. Oh yes, it is. Good. Gyarados is gonna be good. We Oblivious Slowbro could be interesting because you're immunized taunt with like a lot of different types. Tyranitar is gonna be important in stopping the weather. Yeah, sleep is also another thing that has been discussed lately, and it's like, I'm not sure what to make of it. Some people say there is old sleep. Some people say they have seen in Japanese trailers, that they have seen the drowsy status is back from Pokemon Legends Arceus, so you have only chance to not move whilst being sleepy, which I think I would be a great fan of, because I think sleep definitely needs like absolutely ridiculous nerf. It has been kind of a problem ever since its introduction. Just not moving for X amount of turns, that's just random, it's just not good, especially when used with something like Fastest Lilligant. Or I'm gonna show you this thing. This little rascal, this thing is absolute menace. I hate Jumpluff. Jumpluff basically solves problems the teams should not solve. For starters, its base 110 speed alongside with Sleep Powder makes it the fastest Sleep Powder user in the game. And it's really fast. 110 speed is really fast. It's really difficult to stop, especially once you realize you cannot really fake it out because it got Encore, and it can go for Protect, and it also got Rage Powder out of all these things. And it also has like really good special bulk. It has like, I don't know, let me look. It's like, I know it's like 95 special defense. And like if you max out the HP stat, like look at this. This is bulky. This is really bulky. This is definitely not bulky. And once it can leech off, it's one of the most important roles it has is that it leeches off the son of like Primal Groudon or Groudon, and it can use its chlorophyll for its advantage. So go for sleep powders on stuff like Xerneas or other chlorophyll sweepers, or just ignore their talent. It's just that simple. Oh yeah, it got Strength Sap because it didn't need anything else, right? So the Jumpluff is going to be really scary or kind of okay, depending on how Sleep is going to be handled. You will definitely see me using Jumpluff early meta if they will keep the old Sleep mechanics. If not, I think stuff like Amingus and Jumpluff are just... They had a good run, they have been imbalanced in their own way, but their main draw was heavily nerfed, so... That's that. Salamence also, Staraptor is amazing. I've been using Staraptor in multiple different formats. It's also quite a cool Pokemon because of its high HP Final Gambit. Final Gambit is a move that subtracts, it KOs your own Pokemon, but it also does as much damage to the opponent as much health you had left. So you can just KO Pokemon with 192 HP guaranteed. This is amazing for Trick Room leads with something like Bronzong, as you can just take down one of their Pokemon immediately with Final Gambit, and just then switch into your Trick Room Sweepers whilst being extremely safe, as it's kind of difficult to KO a extremely bulky Trick Room Center with one move, especially once it can Tera Slice to just pick and choose the stabs opponent can or cannot use. So I'm a huge fan of that. Also, it got U-Turn and Intimidate, which is just fantastic. Pachirisu is back, and it can definitely change its typing to be something more annoying. I can definitely imagine Water-type Pachirisu with Volt Absorb being very annoying at Worlds. Like if Sejin goes to Worlds this year, I think he's bringing Pachirisu back, because this is probably the one of the few chances Pachirisu I think got to shine. Unfortunately, there is a Mingus and Vivillon in the format as well. Vivillon also completely loses its job because Jumpluff does it better. It's a grass type, even though the powder moves. It also got Rage Powder. I mean, it doesn't have like a plethora of abilities like Compound Eyes or Friend Guard, but it's just faster, and that's just immensely more useful. Also, is my... Oh yeah, the camera is blinking for some reason. What is that? Okay, let me close the window. Is that better? I mean, it should be better. But, alrighty, let me adjust the camera. Alright, let's just continue talking. It's a bit of a dark here, but at least it doesn't do that glaring thing there. Okay. Any other honorable mentions? Mimikyu is definitely going to be interesting. It's always been. Cordovan is if... well, it all entirely depends on it if Ursaluna is going to be in the game or not. And with that, I'm probably going to... answer to this question is complicated, so I'm probably ending this part of the video right here, because I'm going to talk about the few leaks and rumors that have been circling around, you know. So you got 5 seconds to leave, or end the video if you don't want to get leaked about a Pokemon that apparently got revealed. It's rumors, but actually it's really big rumors, because, I mean, it's not entirely confirmed, but there is a pretty high chance that's true. Alright, you left already, so let's talk about this. Let's just introduce you to this website. It's called makyo.it/Pokemon. It includes basically a database of all the returning Pokemon. Apparently that got confirmed by most of the leakers around. Yeah. Alright, so... yeah, this is apparently the returning Pokédex, and in a downwards, you see Ursaluna. You see Ursaluna, which, well, that is very scary. Ursaluna is probably going to be... I mean, it's home-only transfer, and home compatibility is usually added later in the new game's lifespan. So, my theory is VGC 2023 is going to be probably divided into 2 periods. Pre-Ursaluna and post-Ursaluna. It also depends on if Guts is kept on Ursaluna. And if Facade is a TR, and Earthquake is probably a TR or whatever. But Ursaluna is such a ridiculously overpowered Pokemon at a limited dex format, to the point the metagame is gonna wrap around it. I thought of multiple different sets for Ursaluna. So first off, look at these stats. Ursaring, we're gonna be using that for identifying the moveset of Ursaluna. And let's just see. Alright, look at these stats. 130 HP with 195 defense. So basically that means it's gonna take any close combat that's thrown at it, even if they try. And the special defense is not bad at all, so usually the EV spread is going to be looking something like this. You can invest into HP as well if you feel like your bulk is not sufficient enough, but this is going to be basically it. You are very special bulky now. Scalds just don't scare you because you're going to be using your own Flame Orb or Toxic Orb. Because I think one of the more interesting sets Ursaluna could run is something like Fire Punch. Because there's going to be very limited amount of Pokemon that are going to be able to beat Ursaluna. Namely, Misdreavus and Corviknight and Bronzong. And all of these Pokemon are basically absolutely smacked with Fire Punch from Ursaluna. So basically you're gonna munch with all of them and keep your Earthquake and Facade stab. You can use like Shadow Claw or Crunch, I'd say, as well. Because you're still gonna hit like a truck. You can also use Curse to just kind of like put Soul in the wound. You can use Close Combat, but I think you just kind of need to hit the Misdreavus, which is apparently going to get a new form with Ghost and Fairy typing, so I think Shadow Claw is going to be a bit more of a safe choice, although Misdreavus should not be able to do anything back to Ursaluna. It's mostly going to be like going for Will-O-Wisp, but what's Will-O-Wisp going to do against a Guts Ursaluna? Of course, you got your Earthquake, which is important, and Facade, which is going to hit like so hard. It's going to be basically on every Trick Room team, and the thing is, Ursaluna's typing is so kind of interesting interesting enough that makes it, and bulk is also really good, that makes it like good enough even outside of the Trick Room, which is pretty much a dream of any semi-Trick Room team that's going to be flying around. Basically, Bronzong Ursaluna is going to be, or Misdreavus Ursaluna is going to be extremely slappable on pretty much any team, so I think that's going to be kind of the state of the meta, and counteracting it will be absolutely critical. So usually the way around it will be just going for like a Levitator and Terrestrialize and a Ghost type, because then you're going to be immune to Earthquake and Facade, and then basically you have to pray that they don't have like a coverage move that hits exactly your Pokemon. But they usually will, because Ghost type is going to be the most common way to counteract it. And this thing just hits hard enough to just go through resistances. I would say you don't even need coverage against like Iron Defense, Body Press, Scorpionite, because you're going to do like 70% with Facade the first turn, and then you're going to just finish it off with next Facade, even at +2. It's going to do over 35% damage. So yeah, post Ursaluna meta, kind of scary. Pre-Ursaluna meta, I would say it's going to be a lot more fun, a lot more diverse. Oh yeah, Jump Bluff and stuff also is invalid. Like, you're not going to beat Ursaluna with Amoonguss if the... Oh yeah, Amoonguss is returning, but it's not going to do much against Ursaluna because it just poisons itself or burns itself. So that's not a solution from Trick Room either. So you better just pack your Bronzong with like probably a Iron Defense and Fighting type, which is, I think, is going to be good enough to beat Ursaluna. Because, I mean, we'll see, but I'm still really skeptical as to how are we going to beat Ursaluna, but you know, we were scared of Kyogre plus Zacian plus Venusaur plus Tornadus in the 2022 metagame as well, but it just kind of got phased out by second week, so I'd say we will find solutions. It's going to be a metagame wrapping thing, but not impossible to defeat. So yeah, post Ursaluna meta. Also, other interesting Pokemon that are returning, most interestingly, are all the Kalos starters. Interesting, eh? There is only the Hisui starter coming from the 2nd generation, no 3rd generation starter, no 4th generation starter, Hisui, this guy, Hisui, you know, and Charizard, because of course you got to bring a Charizard back, and then all the Kalos starters. Really grinds my gears, you know, it's like, makes me think, you know, why are they doing that, especially since Spain is right next to France, so man can dream of a Kalos DLC, man can dream. Yeah, Indeed is back, apparently with Follow Me, and I think it was actually officially revealed as well. Amoonguss is back, Mudsdale is gonna be good, Azumarill is gonna be probably good as well. And that's probably it from these Pokemon. Pachirisu, as I've said, is going to be pretty interesting to see. Corviknight with Iron Defense Body Press is going to be interesting. These two girls are going to be friends again, Hathor and Indeedee. Just good time together, you know. Yeah, that's probably about it. The other thing that's interesting about is Jinnan Pokédex, excuse me, is going to be apparently the revealed list of Pokemon that are going to come next. I'm not going to be discussing these. These are apparently like the revealed Pokemon. You can look at these yourself. These are not official arts, but there are some interesting observations, you know. That being, Dunsparce gets evolution. We already know Giraffare gets evolution. Bisharp apparently gets evolution, which is like the last thing that would need an evolution. So Violet Bisharp is going to be interesting, but I think Bisharp evolution is going to kind of overshadow it, and I still think Bisharp has kind of like weird typing that makes the Violet not so viable, especially since it's not really that bulky either. Maybe if it changes type, heck I know. Primeape is going to get evolution, which Violet Primeape is completely out of the question. It has been power crapped to the ground. Bisharp is just a bit more lucky, it's from Generation 5. But yeah, Paradox Pokemon are probably going to be the most interesting part. if it's been confirmed, but the confirmed leaker that said about his Pokemon talked about posted a picture of Ferragrif like 3 months before the release, so I think it's pretty good source to talk about. Other than that, yeah, future tournament or a bunch of interesting Pokemon, namely the Ancient Misdreavus with Ghost Fairy typing is going to be super interesting. Depending on if it gets Rook Room and what kind of like stat baseline it has, which is the only thing we really don't know. And this is like kind of like post-game things, you know. It doesn't matter. But yeah, Hariyama has been revealed basically only because it got like Hariyama is probably brought back because it got this alternative form. Oh. And oh yeah, Volcarona will get 3 chances to shine after a early meta, which is kind of a trope at this moment. Because usually Volcarona is amazing early format because of its like interesting qualities. Rage Powder, Flame Body is always good to just have against Fake Adders, and it can set up sweep with Quiver Dance, but it never really reaches the enough of the power it needs to just go for a Quiver Dance sweep. It's like, it's big power, but only good move it gets is Heat Wave, which is not sufficiently good enough to just double one-shooter. And it has blaring flaws and like weakness to Rock Slide, so technically it's gonna be hilarious to see if maybe Terrestrializing Volcarona is gonna be better than the other 2 Volcaronas. So yeah, I think that I said everything I wanted to talk about. Hopefully Nintendo Ninjas won't get me for talking about leaks, but I think it's just widely available. And I guess like every single clickbait channel already talks about these leaks, so I don't think it's gonna be that much of a problem. I'm gonna look. Maybe this part of the video I'm gonna cut it out, but whatever. Anyways, since we got no base stat totals or base stats for these Pokemon, it's kind of hard to talk about them, so we'll have to wait for that. But Bishop Evolution is gonna be interesting, and I give a lot of hope in the Ancient Misdreavus to keep Ursaluna at bay. So yeah, that's about it. So hopefully I talked about some interesting stuff that might interest you. I'm gonna put down this sample team right here that I made in the video's description. I think it's just gonna be a great Day 1 team to have. Like, really, I don't think it can go wrong. These last 2 slots are extremely interchangeable as well, so it's quite flexible based on what's gonna be popular. So I think that's gonna be good. So yeah, I think I talked about everything. Hopefully learned something new, and I'm gonna be probably back after Pokemon Showdown updates for Scarlet and Violet. So it's coming soon. So we have also entered the league season, so you can definitely look into 4chan if you're that kind of guy, and ignore all the other posts and just wait for the leak and download it if you're one of these guys, you know. Remember. Alright, so I'll catch you next time, alright? See ya.